So, hello and welcome everyone to the final episode or the episode 7 of the UX show. This is your host, Yash, and I am one of the Google developer expert. We also have another. So, our hosts are like Victor Sanchez, Giga, and Andrew. Victor Sanchez also a Google developer expert. We have Giga from Jobia AI, and we have Andrew from the Liquid Galaxy and GDG Spain. It's a very pleasure to have these many episodes with all of you and to have like all of these exciting memories that we had. And I think that we all started with episode 0, which was something that just happened on live, and that was like a pilot program. And Giga, I just want to like ask some of the things that was your takeaway, like how did we start and all of the things that like how the journey actually started. So yeah, Giga, over to you.
Thank you, Yash. Yeah, I think that our pilot program went really well for me, and I think everyone will agree on that. It was interesting to be part of this show, to be part of the amazing people. I have learned so much from you guys and from our guests, and I hope that I also provided some information or asked some good questions to our guests. I think that on the way we have improved. We have learned a couple of lessons. We did changes and delivered some type of shape of the show. And I think that with the last episode, I can be proud that we finished those 7 episodes and with having great guests, discuss so many different things. And I think that people who watches our episodes and shows should be happy that we brought so many amazing experts from different industries with different backgrounds and different knowledge. And we try to be diverse. We try to talk about AI. We try not to talk about AI. So, and also, yeah, we are open for feedback. And every time you see something that you like or you didn't like, yeah, please share with us and we will take into consideration. So, if you want to hand over, I'll go with Andrew.
Oh, okay. So for me, I'm gonna say something public. I mean, Victor has listened this maybe some time ago. I'm the oldest guy in the conversation. So, and at some point, I have many students working with me at my laboratories here in the Scientific Park of Lleida, where my most of my activities are based in Spain. And I always say to the young guys that if you start to become a older person, at some point you have to start to code because your brain is not used for this. What I'm trying to say is that I have a different role here in this streaming. We from GDG Spain, we make lots of activities online. We try next to Victor, and other colleagues from here. And my role has been, I would say, as a pusher. Yes, I wanted to help here, to help Yash on his new endeavors. Then having you, Giga, as our host, very nice, and also introducing Victor to you all because Victor is a person that is very expert on this side. That's why I want to say that the guests, sorry, we have on the different programs has been a very high level, very interesting persons with a deep knowledge of the question. And for ending my words, I will say also that usability is something we have in our mind we for our guests, but sometimes the industry does not have it in the same sense we have. So I think it's something, and it was in the origin of the creation of this small streaming we have developed, that we have to all push for this part, sometimes too little part of any project to be bigger, and also to consider specifically some areas like people accessibility for people and so on. So I think the UX thing, UX, UI, and so on, accessibility is a very important question, and we have to fight for it. That's my point of view. So Sanchez, it's up to you.
Well, all right. I'm going to say a few things, probably in a terrible order and speaking way too fast, as is my tradition. But I'm going to I'm going to finish as I started, right? The first one is that I like to surround myself always with people that make me feel small. And I know that sounds like a terrible, terrible thing, but it is the most wonderful feeling ever, feeling small for me, in the sense that whenever I see anyone with a bigger brain than me, with a bigger knowledge than me, with a bigger spirit than me, with bigger energy than me, I always want to follow their tracks, right? So nothing makes me happier than being the smaller person in the room. And I have felt that way many times, surrounded by all of you and surrounded by many of our guests. So thank you so much, to make me kind of want to grow bigger, because it is an important part of who I am as a person. And I believe this kind of UX show has become exactly that for me, a road. I was, before doing this, I was making a list of all the books that I've read and all the videos that I have, because on my notes, I always, whenever a guest recommends a book, or they recommend a video, or they talk about the feature that I didn't heard about, I kind of was making notes. And I had such a long list, that I have added to my list of knowledge and to my list of impossible long list of things to read in my life. But I continue to add to that list. And it's been an amazing experience. I think it's time to congratulate ourselves, because this is the space where I have a spoken list about AI by far of everything on in 2025. So yes, we spoke about AI, but also we managed incredibly to speak way less than we have done. I'm sure it's the same for you in many other spaces. And I was thinking of this the other day, because obviously now Cloud has its Chrome plugin, Anti-Gravity has its Chrome MCP, and I was, looking at the screen as a passive, UX show host, and I was amazed, right? These AIs trying to use some of the websites, right, that were there as if they were human, and I realized, right, how many things we do right when we put together these UX experiences, and also how many we do wrong, and probably will continue to evolve and to finish. The third thing that I wanted to mention is obviously kind of a dedication to our speakers, right? I started talking about my co-host. I think the last one is for our speakers. I think we have been incredibly lucky that Yash honestly has so many good friends on that part, because we were able to talk with true experts in their field. And you can tell that they are experts because a true expert is generous with its knowledge, right? Because they know that even if they give you 30 minutes of really high quality, you are not going near them anytime soon. But man, what a blast it was, to have these speakers kind of sharing their knowledge. It was, I mean, I felt smarter after every session, and that's something that I'm extremely grateful. And I'm sure many of the followers that have been, kind of accumulating and viewing these videos have learned a lot in the process. So yeah, I don't know, I'm very giddy. I'm very grateful for the whole experience. I hope that we can continue to do it more.
Sounds really great. And yeah, I think that one of the best thing that we had was all our guests, all our lovely speakers that we had. It like gave us so much momentum in our talks, like we wanted to do more and more of these episodes. Maybe we'll be back with the season 2, who knows? But yeah, I would definitely love to. One of our guests, like the very first one, was Crystal Scott, who set up a very good foundation for us for accessibility. And I think that was what her and the Graceful Web Studio does. And I think that the very good part of it is that all of it is in a single playlist. So if anyone would like love to like watch it, then they can just go on and check it back and back again and again, all the lovely episodes that we had. I think one of the other folks that we had was Seva, and it was Giga's friend. So yeah, Giga, do you want to speak a line or two about him? And then maybe we can just talk about some of their guests and take it from there.
Yeah, of course. I will just say a word about Crystal and Andrew's comment about accessibility and usability. Like, even we try to have it in mind, we still kind of sometimes idea of accessibility. And first episode was blast for me with Crystal, showing how important it is to implement all the right approaches for accessibility. So it was amazing. And definitely watch, guys, if you have not seen that episode before. Seva is my good friend. He is a really smart guy, and I had a couple of different chats on different topics, and it's always important to get the feedback, share the information from your experience, and he has been that guy all the time who is eager to help not only his friend but random people from LinkedIn. They are connecting to him, and he's open to share his knowledge. And yeah, I think that that was one of the good episodes for me as a product manager to see my type of people coming to UX show and discussing how us trying to implement the principles of the UI and UX. So yeah, definitely nice episode. I think it was also good to know how big companies are taking the steps towards accessibility, usability, and so on. So yeah, next one I would love to discuss Nina maybe. Andrew, or I think Andrew, you were not present if I'm not wrong in that episode. So maybe Victor, you want to say a couple of
Of
words?
course, no, I'm happy to comment on Nina, right? I remember it's kind of funny, right? What being 18, 17, 18 years at Google, I believe she was, does to your
Yeah.
brain, right? In terms of productivity, in terms of approaching many of the issues. And now we had that very interesting conversation on how she became almost an entrepreneur, right? In the sense, she started now Astrolabium, as you probably all recall. And it's funny, right? Because obviously she's a UX expert, but also now she's a professional coach. And I remember the wonderful conversation we had about how hiring is going to change quite a bit with AI, how to defend yourself in this kind of changing market, how to become or to continue to be valuable in that place. And kind of show you as well a little bit of the humanity of the show, right? In the sense that, yes, we have talked a lot about UX, but I remember a lot of personal stories as well, right? And a lot of kind of side conversations that are part of any good podcast, I believe. And I remember those with Nina with a lot of kind of care and love, because we learn quite a bit, right? And I really like her approach as well, right? The data-driven approach that she mentioned so much in her kind of podcast or her interview. I don't know how to call it anymore, to be honest, but I really enjoyed it, and I think, yeah, who wouldn't want, someone like working on your UX or coaching you in your career, probably both, actually, on that piece. So I remember it kind of, yeah, with lots of good memories, honestly. It was quite an amazing show. And yeah, I mean, I'm an entrepreneur myself, so I'm biased on this one, but I really like kind of her personal story, right? Because it would be very easy to continue to coast another 18 years in Google, but she has that spirit to wanted to do new things, and I always appreciate that in anyone, and especially Nina. So yeah, great episode.
Yep. I think that I would also love to like give a few lines to Nina, because she has been like my mentor for 2 or more years, and she had helped me a lot to grow in my UX career, to like understand how the market works, and how there are like two things: that doing your actual day-to-day work as a UX engineer is different from cracking the code interview, for becoming someone who is a UXE or who is someone in the UX industry. And that's like the whole where the whole dynamic shifts, because if someone is like really good in his communication and is able to do that whole 45 minute of a code interview that could like decide your whole career or something like that, then you only just need one chance and you have to like give it all. And then I mean, it's a whole different skill when you are actually doing a day-to-day job from that. So she had a very good understanding. She had connected with all the recruiters she could, and to understand how the market works and how the things are going. And maybe she is helping like over hundreds of professionals to become much better at their jobs, or to help them grow their careers or gain new careers, in case that they have lost. And that's like one of the most fantastic things that I actually got a chance to, and I got to learn from. I think that one of the other guests that we had was also Pranshu Khanna, and one of the best things about him was that he was a community manager. So I would love to give it to Andrew, who has also been like managing communities. Like, what was your thought about like someone who is managing for Mozilla, and he has like around 10 or 11 years in that? So like, how does the whole thing looks like? Does it like make you scared, or how does managing community like at first looks like versus something that you have been doing for long? So yeah.
Okay, it's a very interesting question. I mean, as you know, because we've been sharing for a few years now this stuff a little bit more with Victor, and just gonna make a second of publicity of this. We are three share the main mentors on a community, open source community. We have I would say a product, but I don't want to say a product because it's not really a product. We don't sell it anymore. There are some others persons and companies in the world that sell it, but we have behind what is called the Liquid Galaxy project, and we share this idea of sharing knowledge with the people, helping them to grow, as you said, that Nina did with you in the mentoring. Yes, handling a community is something difficult. We manage, I would say, a few of them, many. we spend many hours. You all know that next to the Liquid Galaxy thing, I also, I don't want to say manage because it's not really managing, but it's at some point it may be the GDG Spain community, Google Developers Groups Spain, that is an umbrella for the 40 different groups that we have in Spain for Google developers. And also, this is the main reason we do this show, because the show goes to the YouTube channel of GDG Spain. We don't have too much followers. We are a very specific channel with for the community, so we're not, I will say, we are not influencers, but we have a very tight number of persons that are interested in our things. And also I wanted to mention, and this is another huge community, and your question was about managing communities, like this guy from Chile. I want to mention that, remember that this show is also being streamed to the Google Developers Online Discord community that is larger. I mean, we have something like 60,000 people there. Google makes a big effort on using the technology everyone is using now for making communities, that is Discord. This is the trendy thing. So you have to be on the people list, and we, like the Liquid Galaxy community, are in Discord, or Google is also in Discord. And these streams are always has been reproduced on the stage of the Google Developers Online. That is the name of their community in Discord. So it's hard to manage again with quotes, to manage a community, and it's very important that we are technical community, so we talk about technology. And again, I mean, we can do a simple joke. We can talk about AI, like Victor was saying at the very beginning. It's easy. Everyone talks about. Everyone is a master now in artificial intelligence, but not too much people is talking about web, like Victor does, because it's his specialty, or talking about usability, talking about user interface. So I believe since the very beginning that this is a very important point. So this is the reason we do that. So up to you, Yash.
Yeah, I think that's a very perfect answer. And because like we have been seeing a lot of community management and the Google Developer Expert Group also, like I've seen that how many communities that we have been a part of could be like maps and web that I am a part of, could be like web that Victor has been in. And I've seen like one thing in very common, that it is about helping others to understand so that they can build better. It could be about a specific technology, it could be about Android, Flutter, it could be about maybe for even Mozilla to understand how the whole documentation works. And I think that this MD and web docs is something that every developer is using. So if you are like facing some kind of an issue, then you actually go to that and you try to understand like what would be our like kind of a return type, what would be that HTML attribute, what does that CSS property do, and what would be like some of the examples. So I really love that how something is so like we have user experience plus we have developer experience, and that developer experience has been like the UX that I learned from that, and I learned from Pranshu. I think one of the other guests that I also love was Adam Argyle, and maybe I will give it to Victor, but before that I will just share like a one or two lines about him. He has been like a very cool punk guy, that as he says. And I think the very first meet that I had with him was like around at 2 a.m. on my time, and I was just talking about some CSS particular, some kind of an issue. And then we had this whole open source thing about this CSS WG draft about CSS motion blur, and he was actually the one who was leading it before. And then I got to like work on some of these stuffs there. And I think that that's how the like friendship began. And then eventually we had it on our talk, and we learned a lot of things like we do in all of our talks. So yeah, Victor, if you want to take away and you want to talk about Adam Argyle and how we had some of the experiences.
Man, my head still spins after that episode. I have to say, it was one of those episodes, where I realized what I always hated this title, the Google Developer Expert in Web Technologies, because web technologies is way too big to call yourself an expert. It is insane. There are so many small pieces, right? And I remember I originally got my title with WebRTC, WebGL, WebAssembly, right? So I have like web technologies and Project Fugu. But I remember what is to be in front of a subset of Google Developer Expert in Web Technologies, right? This guy is an absolute expert in CSS, right? A massive, massive expert. And you realize, right, that he's literally at another level, right, on those pieces. And I learned so much in those, 25, 35 minutes that we spoke with him. But it kind of reminded me, right, how hard it is to call yourself an expert in web technologies. And that is always, I hated that title, and I always specify the things that I know inside web technologies and that I'm an expert on, because it is so hard to call yourself an expert. Web has become this massive, massive wave. And it is really interesting, right? Because the web is a place where you can literally create wonderful applications, knowing a little of a lot of different APIs, but never forget what it looks like to have a true expert in a piece of those web technologies like CSS, right? And I remember some of the questions that we did, we were trying to bait him in a rage almost, right? And I was trying to poke him like, what do you think about Tailwind? What do you think, what is the best framework in CSS, right? And actually his answers were not ragey at all, right? We even have this kind of visceral reaction for native CSS because he understood that CSS can become really complicated. And some of these frameworks make CSS accessible to anyone that doesn't have the knowledge that he does, right? And you can still make beautiful things with great frameworks because some people like him and many others have that expertise and are able to put it out there, right? So it was very enriching, honestly, and very humbling as well, on that part, because what an expert in CSS, and what a fun guy all around. To be completely honest, I remember it with a smile. I think he's very personable, right, and kind of shows you another very important lesson that I think many people have kind of learned watching, and I have spoken with some viewers after the fact, some people that has DM'd me, or some people that have watched the videos. And one of the things that they were very surprised is how all these very technical experts, all of them broke apart this kind of weird image of the weird engineer. The reality is that you have to be a good engineer nowadays. However, you are as good as your ability to tell your stories, right? And something that all of our speakers had in common. They are great experts in technology, but also great speakers. And man, Adam was a perfect example of this.
Amazing. Yeah, I think that we all had a blast on that episode. I think one more episode that we had, and I think that was the 7th episode. So the 6th episode, just the one before this one. This is the 7th one. We had Thomas, and I think each of us was there, and we saw the experience that he had also, like 18 years and working only at one company, Google, and he told about DevRel. He taught us about Fugu, about AI. We had like one of the talks where we had to communicate and had questions about AI. And I think I would ask Giga, like, how was your takeaway, and like what things that you love the most from it?
Yeah, I think it was an amazing episode as well. I agree with Victor that that's the best part of an expert, who people can explain tough, hard topics into small details, break down, and yeah, even though it was maybe a bit too technical for me, and his ideas and every information shared was incredible, still I enjoyed a lot. I have seen how we envision the future of the Google Chrome AI, built-in AI, and everything there. So definitely interesting episodes. Really good guest, real knowledgeable, and I just have nothing to add but just be grateful that we brought him, and thank you again, Yash, for that. And I think that yeah, I would definitely keep an eye. And I'm happy that all these people we have on the shows, I connect to them and see how on what projects they are working, how they are progressing, their projects progressing, so that I have my fingers on the pulse and see where we are directing our world, where are we going, and see how the technology is changing. And as we saw from him, the technology is changing rapidly and it gives us so much capabilities to do different things. So I think it was amazing. Maybe
Uh,
some, yeah.
I think that AI has just one more, like one of the persons that we have here has also the words AI, and I would like to like Andrew. Can you just talk about like what's AI in your name?
Andreu Ibanez, you mean?
Yeah, so we had like talks about AI, and then I just
It's
noticed that yeah,
everywhere, man. It's difficult to pronounce a few phrases without you saying AI, not meaning artificial intelligence. AI is around. So sometimes
yeah,
I I'm talking in other public things like this one, and I try to say this today. I'm not going to talk about AI. I'm not gonna, but you name AI continuously, so it's a very common thing.
amazing. Yeah, I think that there was also like a wrap up that I wanted to give. Like we had some very excellent speakers. Maybe we will have more. Maybe we will have a continuation of this, and I really enjoyed it. Like I was like in depth knowledge of getting about accessibility knowledge, or knowing about how the MDN thing work and how like someone could contribute, or just diving into CSS the way that we never even knew that yeah, there are some more CSS properties that we haven't explored. There is a whole like world or possibilities of it. The Fugu APIs, there are so many of them. Like we have like thought about it. Like there would be like some of the hardware ones, there would be some of the contact picker ones, but there is a lot more going on, and they're like actively being developed. And alongside, we have like the built-in AI things that are like I mean, a thing of the future. So we can just expect more and more of them. I think that there was also a bit of a update, a personal update that I wanted to give. Before that, I would just give one more time to Andrew, if you want to like have your own wrap up the things that you thought about the UX show, and like what was your takeaway.
Well, again, I mean, I think this is an area that sometimes is very, I mean, a bit left in some places that it has to be. So again, I teach a lot of students, and we do many projects, coding projects, and it's curious how this area is sometimes even not mentioned in their careers or in their studies. So I think we have all to push on this and just make people understand that it's a needed question. That's my belief.
Amazing. Yeah, I think so too, because the UX show just brought together a great amount of knowledge for all of us. But yeah, other than that, I think that this would be like one of the final recordings, like especially just calling it like a season one end rather than just calling like we never say never. Also had a bit of a personal update here to just talk about that. So I would be joining Google just after this. So I would have my things about like yeah, I would be helping around Google Meet, and that's like the thing that we record on. So I would be as a UX engineer for Google, working on from US. So really excited about it. Really excited about like the whole thing that we led was on the Google's like developer platform. We were like leading on to these Google developer communities, and we're working also as like Google developer experts, formal Google developer experts, something like that, and then joining into like the whole like the big system. So yeah, that's like the big tech as I would call it. So yeah, that's like about
I want
Google.
Yash specifically to be the first one saying you
I have
congratulations. And
two comments, Yash.
still,
Number one, congratulations.
I'm the first.
Congratulations.
I'm the
Sorry.
first. I'm the
Please,
first.
please, please. Sorry.
I'm the first because I was just trying with my phone to find the very first email I have from Yash, because Yash
Okay.
was studying at the university, and then he tried to get into GSOC, Google Summer of Code, the program we run next to Google for Liquid Galaxy project, among many others. And I was trying, but it's difficult because I share thousands literally of emails with Yash. So it's very difficult to find the first one. But I want you to congratulate because it's been I would say a rocket career in not much than 3 years. You become from a student that you end your studies at the university, Indian University, and then you make a lot of steps to go further, working first for one of other students. It was very nice to see how you start to work for the real thing with another student of us, and then you started to do manual things, and then reaching the GDE, being mentor or thing, also being administrator, helping me in other questions, and being always ready to collaborate with the community and with any person that requests you. So congratulations on your new jump, the big jump, because it's not so easy to jump further because you are going to work for one of the 10 or 5 maybe bigger technology companies in the world. So congratulations. Yeah, Victor, go. You want two things, go.
I had two things. The number one is congratulations. That's amazing, man, and well deserved as well. And the second one is I have a list of improvements. Okay, I have to give you a list. I have ideas, Josh. Please call me. Okay, I have ideas. If you're gonna work in Meet, I have ideas. You have to call me, man. We need to talk. We need to talk, man. That's amazing. That's amazing. It's a great addition to the team. And jokes aside, congratulations, man. I'm really happy for you, and couldn't think of anyone more deserving, man.
I think many of our ideas would overlap because I also have too many ideas that I documented. Maybe someone at Google just really liked those ideas. So would be making sure that we can have the best experience UX. So we had this whole show about UX we have been doing and talking about user experience. And I think that we have been using this platform for like so long that we have been noticing things that are like maybe not noticeable by the general audience. Then maybe we can just do some really superb work and the stuff around it. So yeah, really excited to like.
Congratulations, Yash. You really deserve all the effort and all the time you put into your work, and not only you love this, and I think that you will be amazing, and good job, and I'm happy for the team you are joining because you're definitely a good addition to the team, I believe so. And I will keep an eye to Google Meet and see new things coming, and I'll say that this is done by my friend who has been working on Google Meet, so I'm really proud of you.
And maybe I can say this publicly. I'm not going to say it totally, but I think you're going to be neighbors, Giga and Yash. Not too far away. No, you are thousands of kilometers away. No, you're become almost neighbors. So it's not needed to say where, but you will have the opportunity to be together.
We will have multiple opportunities to meet, and would be like really to do that. But yeah, I think that was.
Remember, Victor is he has a green card. He's an American also, so he's been living for how many years did you live in US?
Permanent resident.
So
years.
You stay here for how long, Victor, in US?
16 years total in the US.
16
years total in the US.
16 years. It's almost as American as Giga. And me, I would say not, but I started to go Silicon Valley in 1987, that you were not born. So I would say a bit about this.
I was born, sadly. I was very young, but
my very first trip was in 1987 to Silicon Valley. I have an office here in Los Gatos. So we are pretty sure just that in the future we will meet again in whatever place you are, and we are. So up to you to finish this, or maybe Victor. I don't know who's the one that is going to finish.
Like have some final words, and I would like just want to say like really heartfelt thanks to everyone. I think that this was one of the journeys that I really loved, that like shaped the path, the whole thing. All of these are really good individuals that I had the chance to network with, and maybe that they were also some of the educators that I learned from. So maybe this UX show is something for all of our audiences as well, because this is a path that I took, and I took the challenges that come forth to understand all those things that were like learnings from this UX show only. So that's something for our audience, and also like giving a few final words to Victor. So Victor, over to you for the final wrap up.
Man, it's not usual where Victor gets speechless, but today I am speechless. I have to say it happens rarely to Spaniards, I have to say, but today I am kind of speechless. What a journey, yes. Congratulations again, and what a journey for the UX show as well. I think other than extending my thank you, to each one of you, each one of our speakers, each one of our viewers, that, and I think the one of that perspectives, right, that Andrew was mentioning, right, and Giga was mentioning the work, the hours that you put on developing this expertise of my co-host, of myself, of every one of those speakers. And we have kind of joked a lot about AI, right, in this show, but I think there is something that the world will never run out of, or out of the need of having them, and is that type of expertise. And that type of expertise only comes from passion, right? I think the one thing that we all have in common in this co-host arena, everyone that has come into this show and everyone that has been following these videos have that passion in common. And technology change, UX changes, whatever device we get in our hands or in our brains at this rate in the future, that won't change, right? And I think is human passion. So it's been a ride. I've been really, really happy to collaborate with you on this amazing ride. As Andreu mentioned at the beginning, and Yash as well, this is all in the GDG Spain YouTube channel. So if you have missed any episodes, you can go now, find that list, and find that episode. Believe me, my advice for watching this show is take a freaking notepad. Oh, and when the Spaniard talks, just jump. But take a freaking notepad and take notes, take notes, because there are books, there are mysterious CSS properties, there are strategies, there are websites, and believe me, each drop that comes into those episodes is worth taking notes on and spending hours, as I have done myself after each episode, researching and reading. Obviously, it looks like things are going to change a lot for our main host Yash next year. But more than ever, wishing for a UX show season 2 soon, even in another format with a little bit of a different structure, I'm sure, giving the news. But with that said, Yash, I will be there, whenever you are on the Google I/O presenting something amazing years from now, I'll be there cheering. So, Andreu, one of my oldest friends in the community, thank you for another amazing experience together. Giga, our first time doing something together. I know it won't be the last, so looking forward for more. And Yash, you're not going anywhere, man. Google Summer of Code. We need to keep working. We have many students coming, and this year is going to be tough. We are both mentors there, so looking forward to continue to work with you, man.
Okay, you have to say bye-bye.
I hate that.
Yeah, for the audience, we should give something to our audience. And yeah, Victor, you'd be the best person to.
All right. So in that case, thank you so much for following the UX show. Thank you so much for learning with us. And stay tuned, because GDG Spain and each one of us on our socials, we are going to be continue to do what we do best, and is talking too much, but doing so with passion. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.